Hello, and welcome to another episode of Stand Out in 60 Seconds, a weekly conversation on one topic: how to stand out. It is not about being louder or busier, it's about being recognizable in moments that matter. Every Wednesday at 3, we take one lever of standing out and unpack it. One idea, 20 minutes, something you can actually put to use immediately. We have covered levers of image, ideas, positioning, segmentation, customer stories, gamification, touch points, automation. Today, let's play fool. Welcome to Harish Kumar, our guest for the day, a creative visionary merging art and strategy to elevate brand experiences, and the author of a brand new book called Playful. Welcome, Harish.
Hi, Praveen. Absolutely lovely catching back again on this wonderful LinkedIn Live.
Yes,
Real pleasure to be here and look forward to being playful today afternoon.
yes. So, help me understand, what is Playful? Your book is Playful, and the work you do is playful. So, what is that? What is the concept? Tell us a little bit about it.
It started off from a very simple narrative and thought where I've always been a proponent of play inside organizations, schools, colleges, and everywhere. And more so in the working environment where it becomes a little too serious and uh, considered too frivolous as an idea. So it was coming down from the whole idea that as a kid, it was okay for you to make a fool of yourself and be ready to do the next thing. Whereas, as you grow up inside the business life, you don't like to make a fool of yourself or to be branded that way with the word fool. So I said it's okay to be a fool as long as you're learning from it and play with the whole idea.
Lovely. And I'm going to go down memory lane for the benefit of the viewers here, because I was a participant in one of the playful experiences that Harish conducted 10 years ago for a bunch of corporate CEOs in a retreat where he made a bunch of us learn the art of painting and made us all paint, made it gamified, and eventually, for a charity cause, those paintings were sold and bought by a bunch of other entrepreneurs. Harish, tell us a bit more about it. The misgivings the association had, the challenges, the constraints. Do tell us about it.
Yeah, I think when we started working on that idea along with Tai Chennai at that point of time and said, hey, Harish, this is like a exclusive group of charter members and they're all out there and we want to do something fun, yet we don't know to what level can we do. The whole idea came from there where we said, let's not do the conventional games and running around the bushes kind of a treasure hunt kind of an ideas. So we said, hey, why don't we use art as an idea and do
Mhm.
something? The initial reaction was like most of them were pretty defensive. They said, hey, you know what, art, I don't think this is very niche. I don't think people would be up for it. And I know it can get messy, and I don't think people will want to touch the paint and get their hands dirty. I had all sorts of stories that came in. I said, "You need to trust me on this. Take a jump and take that little bit of faith, and let's try and do this." And I think I was thankful to the whole core team at TIE, which said, "Okay, Harish, we believe what you're saying, but we trust you now."
So
And
did all the CEOs.
yes. And likely it exactly happened that way. I remember most of the CEOs who were there, the top CEOs who were there as part of the retreat. The first question was like, okay, painting, I've never painted in my life, or like after school, I've never touched it. And within a few minutes, I would say 10, 15 minutes into the exercise, I had a tough time like holding them back and like getting back to like they were going berserk with the colors, spraying, splashing all around. See, that's exactly the threshold that I try and talk to people in organizations.
Right.
We are building too many walls around us as
Yes.
business heads and CEOs that we want to be like looking perfect. We want to build that corridor around us, and that stops creativity in an organization. The information does not
Ah,
flow bottom up. They know this is the barrier, this is what he likes, this is what he doesn't like, and they start feeding to that
yes.
script.
Yes.
And I think that's where your innovation, creativity, all of that stops.
Yes. So the next question is a lot more serious for our LinkedIn viewers and members. Have you seen a serious leader become more visible simply by being more playful? What did they do differently? What are your thoughts?
Well, I've seen a lot of them, lot of leaders at the top, some who are doing businesses at a local level. I'm not naming the person
Right,
per
right,
se here, but I've seen people who are like very serious into the business. They have been following a particular script of how they need to be. In
right.
fact, in my workshops, outbound workshop that I've taken with like top CEOs from leading MNC banks and other infrastructure, the moment the first set of break happens, I've noticed is when we shift the location. I typically take them to a place like Goa or like anything which kind of associates them with saying, "Ha, I am coming here for fun." And so one, the environment and the place makes a difference. And second, I've seen all of these top CEOs, and they come. The problem what they would have had attend in their office in a more strict confined manner, suddenly this conflict of putting different diverse teams which are actually not getting along and making them operate together makes them see this in a completely different perspective,
Yes.
and they just enjoy it. And I say, see, it's not for the day here. It's
Ah,
about how much can you take it back to your organization, bring it back into practice, and take it forward. Because that's where the whole difference is. Because otherwise, it's just a fun tamasha event that you would find it in an
yes,
afternoon, and then
yes.
you would just leave about. What is the takeaway? How are you going back and implementing inside your team or organization? That's where it really counts.
Oh, that's a big challenge we have from our speaking and a workshop part of it, that we give the boost. The boost sustains for a week or two and then it drops. So we need some booster dose of creativity or playfulness that's got to be coming in. But this is a common mind voice question that comes to a lot of people. They have addressed it to me as well. Is play, will it increase credibility or reduce it? What if they, like earlier you said, that it's okay to make a fool of yourself, but then if it's for a particular role, fine. But how can I be more playful? Will I lose my credibility there? Harish, what's your, because you've been in this space for over 15 years now. So what's your answer to that?
Uh, I think, Pravin, the first, in fact, you nailed this question because good you brought this out. Because people generally tend to ask, play is not for me. I'm too grown up, I'm too busy,
Yeah.
and I would not want to get cross that barrier of doing anything around that space. But what happens is this is a mindset or a script that they have written over the years,
Yes.
which probably has been scripted right from maybe school, at home, at
Ah,
college, at work. And sometimes the script is too deeply entrenched. So to break that barrier depends on the person and the organization. Because if that person is that way, then his organization is also built in that same
yes.
format and template. So they say, hey, you know what? Even a joke or laughing loud is like a taboo here. That's why you see in some organizations it's quite a hush hush. Oh, the boss has come. Everybody's like, I said, why? Like, is that and I have been like early in
Yes.
my corporate life and all that, where we were told to like, hey, you know what, this is how the boss is, and this is what you need to be like. And I used to look like a little rebel at that point of time, but when I look back and
You
connect.
still do. You still do. So
So, what used to look like a bit of a rebel at that point of time, once you connect and you actually, they come out of that script, what they've written so deep in their head, and they say, like, oh, you know what? I can actually rewrite a script here. And they need to rewrite and feed that script back into their head. And that's when the real change starts happening.
but it's so difficult for a lot of people here because the culture, the need to conform, kind of, even if you want to break away, it's like a small excursion and you have to come back into that form. But this question is more personal to you, Harish. What is that one moment where you chose play over stiffness and therefore increased your visibility? When did you cross that threshold personally?
Great, Praveen, you brought this out. Like, I'm trying to connect that word. early part of my career, though I've been largely in the creative space, in the media and all that, this aspect of mine used to look more as a rebel. You know, you don't want to conform to anything, and so you were constantly trying to hit against the wall and trying to break.
Mm,
But at some point of time, I would say thankful to our speaking business and meeting a lot of international speakers and guides. They really put a little bit of a thought, Harish, this is what you're doing. It's
mm,
not being a rebel, but it's actually an aspect of you being playful that you haven't recognized. And you, the whole idea of what you try and do, your creative spaces or design or films or the juxtaposition of all of this that happens is because you need to have a playful mindset. Like, I
right.
need to be open to collaborate with a lot of people. I need to be open to ideas to come. I also need to be open to ideas that get trashed down by my team or clients, and see how can I rework or realign the ideas and coins so that it looks more effective. Because that playful mindset happened because of these people who made me rethink the whole way I was approaching this. And that changed the whole perspective for me.
Ah, lovely. Lovely. Now, in a boardroom or a B2B context, when have you observed humor or lightness unlocking stuck conversations or fragile egos that are there, but a little bit of humor or a playfulness ease things? What's your take on it?
Oh, I'm a strong proponent of that idea. I said the work needs to be serious. One need not become too serious and look boring. I always tell teams, I work with teams, I said, the work that you're doing is pretty serious. The output is serious. The deadline is serious. The outcome and the net result in terms of sales and business growth is serious. But do you need to be extremely serious and boring and rigid and stiff to achieve that? I strongly disagree. And I would say the more you ease out and make this whole journey fun and playful, you will see the targets are achieved in a more fun-filled manner. And
Yeah.
the current generation, if you look at the Gen Z, the next league of
Yes.
workforce that they're coming, they don't want to get stuck to any kind of conformity. They don't want to be bound by boxes. So they say, like, break all this. If you moment you try and box them, they're going to jump out and run away. So you need to create that environment which feels very safe. And I wanted to bring this out of safety.
Mhm.
Playful, when you want to be playful, you need to know that the organization is probably not penalizing for maybe cracking a joke
Ah,
or just laughing it out loud. Because moment the person is going to get penalized, they're going to say, hey, you know what? I should not do this again.
wow.
So that is a very making the environment safe is very important.
Beautiful. Make the environment safe. And I'm moving into a corporate brand. Have you seen a corporate brand stand out purely because it doesn't sound like anyone else? That the brand itself has a playful culture built in.
Yeah, lots of them, lots and lots of
Mm,
them. And in fact, if you look at most of the young brands in India today, because there's a lot of action happening with these young brands in India, be it clothing, be it accessories, personal grooming. You see, all of these brands are like they found that nice thin line bordering on the
yes.
edge, where you're being playful. If you slip a little that side, you can go all wrong in your communication. But they are willing to take that risk, and being playful is actually being a bit of cat on the wall, because unless you know how
Mm,
to balance this, you can go all wrong.
beautiful. That
A lot of
leads.
brands have done a great justice. In
Ah,
fact, personally, I look at a lot of brands, right from clothing, accessory brands, and some of them I personally consume. I said largely because of the cool quotient
aha.
that they carry, and I feel like, wow, this is so cool and fun.
And especially with the Gen Z, it's more the peer level playfulness that kind of percolates right down. You spoke about playfulness having and peaceful environment, accommodating culture. Tell us about a time when play went wrong. something got miscalculated or completely went off kilter? You, of course, don't need to name brands, but if you have any examples, you can tell.
I've had a couple of times when things have not gone as per the script, I would say,
Right.
or the kind of script that you make it up in your mind and say, hey, you know what,
Yeah.
crack. And I remember this was with a large organization, a lot of senior leaders, and it was actually a brief which came from the team. They said, hey, you know what, you can pull that little thing, be a little playful with that one head, and you can try making. And the joke wasn't also that very serious. In fact, it was a very casual remark. Like I said, hey, you know what? They said, any person with gray hair or bald looks. Or who is bald can come over to the stage. And I knew there were two people who were bald in the front row sitting, and one person didn't react. The other person was giving me a like look. So I thought he was waiting for me to call him. I said, "What about you, sir? What about you, sir? Would you want to come onto the stage?" He didn't say anything, and the all the team also kind of cheered, "Yay!" like that. And the guy came onto the stage, and he just went onto my ears, and he said, what you did is really very wrong. You're not going out alive from this
Ooh.
place. I was like, this was least expected when you're doing something. And I didn't think he was going to take it that offensive, especially when I had the support of the team. Then
Yes.
luckily the team jumped in. I said, "Hey, what's happening?" It's like this is like I'm not prepared for this. The team came, they doused the fire. No, sir, he didn't do anything. We asked him to call you and stuff like that. And really, man. But see, things like these can go wrong.
Did you just call me bald? You're not going to go alive.
No, that's why I was thinking of something that I'll use as a scenario that you'll remember.
Now, here's something. Now, you've written a book called Playful, from a corporate setup for a leader as well as a brand. What are the various modes of playfulness that we can? Because I know, and I've been following you for over a decade, and I loved one post that you put quite some years ago where you made a bunch of corporates just using mobile make a movie over a day, or to tell us about it, and also follow it through with what are the various options of playfulness are there in your umbrella that people can look up. So, Harish.
Oh, nice. Happy that Pravin, you brought out this question. Um, when it comes to playful, I follow like three, four approaches with a brand or a corporate. The first is primary, of course. They've seen or read about me, or they read now that my book is out. A lot of them read about the book and then they call me. So the first point of entry usually happens to be the book or some of that, then followed by a few of the custom merchandise that I have, be it a
Ah,
perfume or some branded accessories that we've come up with. So this becomes like the touch points of meeting, which usually ends up with either drafting a keynote for their team or their annual summit, or taking them on an outbound workshop.
right,
And in the outbound workshop, I either use art as a medium or film as a medium or any other specific challenge that they have. So when we do this, we also see what is the extension of being connected with the corporate. So
right.
when it's an art, say for example, if I make 100 people do a piece of art together, I see to that these large pieces of canvas are cut and made into interesting pieces of art, and then they go back to their offices, their boardrooms, and as part of the design of their office, so we look at the spatial design, taking it from there, and see that this is actually leaving a mark in the office. Or
Ah,
when it comes to film, it becomes part of their annual meet. We do an Oscar kind of a reveal, take it down, and then we do the analysis post that, where we continue the organization in terms of either as a consulting phase, or we move into actually spatially designing the place, because they say, hey, can you make this office more playful? And we've done a lot of offices like that where we
ah,
design the offices to be playful.
very nice. So, Harish, I love writing down the punchlines, and these are some of those that you have shared today. Play is a significant proponent of who you are. It's okay to make a fool of yourself. Art is a playful activity. Break the walls, shift the location, environment. How much of that shake up can you bring it back into your corporate world and carry it forward? You can rewrite your own script to be a lot more playful, visible, to stand out. The work can be serious, the output can be serious, the deadline can be serious, but you do not need to be. What memorable words here. Make the environment peaceful and conducive to enable certain people to be playful, to get the cheer up. And such people will be on the edge. If the environment is safe, then it
Yes.
kind of cheers everybody up. So, with that, we will wrap it up. Thank you very much, Harish, for sharing how to be playful. And for all of you listening in, thank you, Mithil Dave, for your comment. There is a QR code right up there that you can go ahead, scan, which will lead you to Harish's book. He's very active on LinkedIn and Insta, so you can go ahead and catch up on his reels. Hopefully, some of them inspire all of us to be that little bit more playful. So, thank you, Harish.
Lovely, lovely. Pleasure, Praveen.